Hello there, my name is Bernardo Villarreal and I am a film director and producer. In today's video, we're gonna do a little exercise of looking back of how it was the journey and the experience of shooting the film RAYA. The film. Well, basically, RAYA is a visual poem that narrates the story of a sailor who is abandoned in a deserted island. In this journey, he must find a way to rediscover himself, even if this means challenging his darkest thoughts. As the Super 8mm film interacts with poetry, connotations, metaphors converge into a unique surrealistic concept that will allow you to become deeply absorbed with the story. This movie basically attempts to capture the essence of loneliness and isolation as a form of self-discovery. Well, our story begins with a fisherman who is very unlucky when it comes to catching fish. However, after many attempts, he finds something very unusual in the net, a starfish. Which later on in the film, we find out that there's like a metaphysical connection between both. Which takes me to a little story that I want to tell you. When we first did the scouting for the film, we found an amazing location near the lighthouse. It was right in front of us, there was like these rocks right in the ocean. And it was the perfect location for the fishing scene. We didn't take into account that during the morning, the water of the ocean, the water level just like goes down. Right when we show up to film the movie, we realized that the location changed drastically, right? But something happened that it discovered hundreds and hundreds of starfish. So there I was, we took care of one little starfish, and we decided that one is going to be the one that is going to be the star of the film. So we did a couple shots with the starfish, and then later on we put it back into the ocean, which we didn't realize we needed to do reshoots like a month after we shoot this, right? We needed to find a very similar looking star. However, a month after, the location again was completely different, except this time the water rise like 10 feet above, which is like 3 meters. There were almost no rocks, and you couldn't see any starfish, but we needed the starfish to continue the film, right? So I remember that I had like a pair of goggles, so I put the goggles and I jumped into the cold water just to find the starfish. And I remember I was looking and looking around, 10 minutes pass, 20 minutes pass. My producer is just like, so I was looking, okay, I'm gonna take a last dive and just trying to find whatever like I can find. And I go into the water, and I, submerge as much as I can. So I go down, and I get as close as possible to the rocks. And once I was like right at the bottom of the ocean, I see there was like a dozen of like pink starfish, and they were like, almost like glooming, like angelic and sound there. So I go there and I grab one. That moment for me was pretty special. It almost reflected my life into this film and what the character was establishing, that connection on the film. It transcended into the real life. Like I was there right at the bottom of the ocean, risking my life just to find that starfish. It was just pretty meaningful for me, and I thought it was great that it ended up in the film that way. Okay, the character. When I was developing the character, I knew that I needed an actor who was able to illuminate like the inner odyssey and the eternal search for the truth within us. And luckily, I had the opportunity to work with Jerry Trimble, whose life story had a fascinating turn of events. When I met him for the first time, I realized that he has such a big heart, and that it was broken in the past, and that it took him a long time and effort to heal those scars. And I am so thankful that he was open and vulnerable to and in his way of approaching this film. I believe we created a great bond and we had an amazing time shooting this film. One of my favorite moments in the film is this little clip that was totally unscripted and improvised, where he basically walks and falls into the rocks, and it just feels like so humane and so silly at the same time, and I think he did it fantastic. Well, the film is inspired on a poem that I wrote during the lockdown, and the poem was inspired on a real life story of a close friend of mine, and how she basically fell in love in a very unusual situation. So basically she was surfing in a beach in Mexico, and while she was stepping in the sand, accidentally she steps on a ray, and the ray stings her feet, and she has poisonous venom inside. So luckily there was another surfer nearby who basically took her into the beach and had to be on her feet, and then this person took her into the hospital. It was this very strange interaction between two people, which involved later on in a relationship that lasts a couple months. And I don't know, I just felt like that interaction with the Ray and the human, it felt very romantic, almost like Cupid-like, and it was inspiring for me. So that's where the name comes from, Ray. I don't know, automatically when I was writing the poem, I already put pictures in my mind. So I thought okay, I must make this a film. I had a lot of fun playing, first creating the poem, and then putting visuals into the poem. It was a pretty good experience.
I feel like I'm jumping. Anna, what are you doing? Hold the pee-pee. That little wiggle.
Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and hopefully you guys can learn something from it, either if it's good or bad. And see you next time.